Like a lot of mental illnesses, eating disorders are taboo. Experts say we don't talk about them nearly enough. That's why we are tonight. Maria Catanzarite joins us in the studio, and you spoke to a young woman who's in recovery. Why is she coming forward?
Megan just wants to raise awareness and help people understand that eating disorders, these are real medical problems because they can affect you for a very long time. And that's why she also hopes her story inspires somebody to get help right away. For many competitive runners, coming in second stings.
I really wanted to be number one.
So Megan O'Malley went to work the summer before sophomore year of high school.
More miles, more strength training. I also started watching my diet.
The results? Fine at first.
I felt good physically and I was running better.
On pace to be the best runner on the Riley girls cross country team, but 2 meets in, her season sputtered. The fight for the finish line became a fight for her life.
I wasn't able to compete because I was in the hospital.
Being treated for anorexia nervosa, an eating disorder.
I meant to get healthier, but I never meant for it to get to that level.
Nobody would choose to have an eating disorder. It's a very difficult illness to live with.
Dr. Michelle Mania is a clinical psychologist in South Bend. She treats people with eating disorder concerns.
An eating disorder really is any time that somebody has an emotional relationship with food that causes them trouble. And so it might involve undereating or overeating. It might involve over-exercising or other ways of trying to control weight or manage body image.
30 million Americans have a clinically significant eating disorder at some point in their lives, yet
it's something we don't talk much about. There continues to be a lot of stigma, a lot of misinformation about eating disorders.
Then let's get it straight.
Everyone is susceptible to an eating disorder.
More common in certain sports.
Sports that have an individual nature or judging tends to be done based on appearance.
But looks aren't everything.
The other one that I hear a lot about is that you can look at someone and know if they have an eating disorder or not. You really can't.
But say someone has an eating disorder, can't that person just eat differently and be fine?
And that is so not true when it comes to eating disorders. There's so much emotion wrapped up in an eating disorder, and that a person can't just decide to be done with it.
Megan O'Malley would know. In 8 years, she went to at least 8 treatment centers. That meant giving up on dreams of running in college and graduating on time. But the runner in her will tell you, life's a marathon, not a sprint.
Well, I finally, after almost 8 years, graduated from nursing school.
Putting that degree to good use.
I'm loving the fact that I get to wear scrubs every day.
She's now a nurse.
Yeah.
Plus, she has her own space.
I feel like a grown-up in my own apartment, you know?
Though she didn't get there on her own.
I'm very grateful for the support and help that I've received from, my parents, because I'd probably be dead without them. I know I would be. I never wanted to go into treatment, and they forced me in it, but I am very, very grateful.
For the support from her therapist and friends.
Just everyone who's helped me.
Make strides toward recovery.
Recovery is possible if you're willing to work at it and if you want it. I've seen it. I have a lot of friends that I've met in treatment who are now recovered, fully recovered.
As for herself,
right now I think I am taking the first step towards recovery. I've never wanted it, and I think it's awesome and scary at the same time, but maybe one day I'll get there.
I relate to what Megan just said, that fear of recovery. Because for 10 years, I battled eating disorders on and off. And like Megan, I relapsed several times. And like Megan, I started out with the same intentions. I wanted to be a faster runner, but then I took things too far. But I've also been on the other side of the spectrum because for most of those 10 years, I was a binge eater. I was really ashamed because I used food as a drug. It was my friend for any occasion, the good, the bad, the boring. But that friend was just a foe in disguise. Some of you know what I mean, because I know I'm not the only one who has struggled with eating disorders, especially binge eating. But last fall, I just got so tired of putting off recovery, and so I stopped binging. And if I can stop, so can you. I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be easy. Every day is a battle in the mind to not go back and to keep moving forward. And I have to say, I had a lot of help. I had a lot of help, so much help. But it is so worth getting your life back, because you are worth it and you are good enough.
Wow. And kudos to you for sharing your story. And,
Thanks.
And congratulations to Megan for
Yes.
working on it. And it's just proof this can happen to
Yeah.
anyone. I
You
mean,
know?
and your sharing, I'm sure, is going to help a lot, and Megan's sharing too.
That's the goal. As long as I can just help one person out there, whether it's one person just understand that kind of thing. And if you want to get help, if you have an eating disorder, or if you know somebody who does, you can contact the National Eating Disorder Association's helpline, and that phone number right there is 1-800-931-2237. The hours vary Monday through Friday, or if you're in a crisis, you can text NEDA to 741-741, or for more information, you can visit their website, which we also will have a link to on our website and on our WNDU mobile app. Just look for the story.
Thanks for sharing.
Absolutely. Thank you for always being there for me.
We're each other's buds. We'll be right back.
Fire crews currently battling a fire on the Cass County, St. Joe County, Michigan line. Good evening, I'm Terry McFadden. Maureen's off tonight. Maria Catanzarite's at the fire, and Maria, does it look like crews are making any progress?
Terry, that's kind of up to them, but I have to say I can tell you they're working as hard as they can. I've seen so many more fire crews shepherding their way down 103. Right now I am in White Pigeon, just 1 mile south of Montville, and joining me right now is Craig Kraft. Craig, good evening. So Craig, you live just about southwest of this fire, correct?
Yeah, directly southwest.
Okay, and can you tell us where this fire is taking place? I haven't been able to speak to any firefighters because they're clearly fighting the fire right now.
Well, it's taking place, the company there is Intech, and they're a mulch manufacturer, and they have several large mounds of recycled wood and rubber, and it seems like it's everywhere in there when I look through the fence, and it's right next to my neighborhood.
And when you were driving home this evening, you were telling me earlier you could see the fire from how far away?
As I was coming out of Bristol, I could look north and I could see all the smoke, which was 5.2 miles away.
Yeah, because like when I was coming to the scene, I was on 12, and I could see the fire about 10 miles away. The smoke just billowing into the sky, which that's still the case. And just a second ago, Craig and I saw the field directly across from us. We're not going to pan over, but we saw the field catch fire because the debris, it's just flying around, isn't it?
Yes, and the fire department guys in their trucks are doing a great job of keeping an eye on things and make sure that it doesn't get out of hand over here.
Yeah, because we heard that it's a 5-alarm fire. So have you been forced to evacuate from your home?
Not yet, but as I was coming this way from work, I kind of thought, well, I better get home and get my dog and be prepared to leave. And because I couldn't tell where it was from, but I could tell it was very large.
Well, we're very glad you're safe, and Craig, thank you for speaking with me this evening. Yeah, Terry, it's the fire crews. They are working so very hard. The flames are still kind of inching their way towards licking the trees, but thankfully the trees haven't caught fire. I had to move my car earlier because a firefighter was afraid that the trees were going to catch fire and catch the car on fire, but thankfully we're safe around here, and hopefully the firefighters will stay safe. And we have still no word yet if there's any injuries. And in fact, a piece of debris just flew right over there. It's catching the field on fire. So we got to get some fire crews over here in just a second. So Terry, I'm going to send it right back to you.
We walk this circle.
This is a study.
We need a light.
A traffic study. Consultants coming in at no cost.
We need a light.
But the cost
Is this a smart street?
of no stoplight,
This needs to be fixed.
it's why they're walking on their own time and dime.
This shouldn't be something that's put off for 6 more months. It needs to be taken care of today.
A stoplight at South and South Michigan Street, just beyond the bus station, where 5th grader Tristan Moore was hit and killed Monday morning, trying to catch a transpo to school.
He just didn't
care how he got to school as long as he got there.
The city shut off the electronically controlled crosswalk last year as part of the Smart Streets program.
How smart is that child getting killed up here? We need a right.
Stopping traffic for several minutes Tuesday.
No justice, no peace.
The community consultants circled South and Michigan 11 times.
We need a right.
For 11-year-old Tristan.
I pray that we get a light put up here that we don't have to keep studying. It was enough studying that went on tonight. It's enough studying when we lost a life.
We need a right.
No test to peace, just a walk to shed light on a light.
Love you, Tristan.
Forest Park lives up to its name. It's foresty, pine needles aplenty. But to Brad Barnard,
Yeah, buddy.
Forest Park's become a racetrack.
38 miles per hour on this gun.
He's on the prowl for speed demons, cutting through a South Side neighborhood nestled along the new 31.
When they closed off all the exits to 31, and then that's when the speeding increased. And we've had mailboxes knocked down. We've had wrecks on the one corner that's back up this way here. Many people are going 35 and 40 miles an hour to get through this area.
But are they? I asked the St. Joe County engineer.
Actually, those speeds are lower.
2 summers ago, her team collected speeds in Forest Park between Jackson and Johnson roads, and they found that most cars went between 25 and 28 miles per hour. The speed limit's 25.
And 25 mile an hour is we consider as a reasonable safe speed, and that's what our standard speed limit is for a neighborhood type road.
But Brad and dozens of his neighbors disagree, penning this petition to the county.
Lower the speed limit to 15 miles per hour.
But
Per Indiana code, the county cannot go to a 15 mile an hour speed limit.
County Commissioner Dave Thomas.
Unfortunately, just as you tell people don't rob banks, some people will speed.
But you got to remember, no matter what road you're on, it is somebody's neighborhood. It is somebody's front yard. It is somebody's children that could be playing out there.
Every Sunday, the Faith Baptist faithful meets with the man upstairs. But why they're meeting down here in Shipshewana at their summer camp, it's a sign of the hard times.
I got a phone call around 2 o'clock last Sunday morning that there was a fire at our church.
7 miles away in Middlebury.
What made that church special to me was the building. The ceilings were huge. It was very old and historic. We had pretty molding in there. It was just a lovely place.
But now it's all boarded up, windows broken, beams are bending in the sanctuary.
We're disappointed that we're not able to meet in our facilities.
Yet they're hitting the high notes inside the camp's little chapel, because not all is lost, not even close.
You know, the church is actually our congregation, and I would miss them if anything happened to them, so I'm happy that we're still around to be together.
If temptation comes knocking to worry about what's next, maybe this is a sign of good times to come. July 11th, 2016.
What goes through my mind is that I still can't believe it happened.
Shot fired, one down, one down.
Put the hair up on the back of my neck.
Shot fired, one down. Good uniform.
I heard it over the radio. I was on Main Street in my vehicle in Benton Harbor. So I arrived at the courthouse within a couple minutes.
Chief Judge Gary Bruce holed up on the 4th floor of the Berrien County Courthouse.
We heard gunshots and then we heard sirens and we knew something was really, really amiss.
In a split second, things can change and become deadly. And that's what happened on that given day, is that this evil person decided to overpower one of our deputies and, kill 2 great people.
Joe Zangaro and Ron Kinzel, 2 bailiffs eyeing retirement after their long careers in law enforcement.
You know, we were just talking about him fishing with his grandsons, and Ronnie was telling me about the barbecue he went to. But as soon as something happens, they're cops, like that.
Berrien County Sheriff Paul Bailey knew both of them.
They're just wonderful people, and they're going to be missed, but we know where they are.
there in heaven, and from this tragedy, we understand how precious life is.